Welcome to the Golf Fitness Bomb Squad podcast with Chris Finn, a production of P4S Golf. Welcome to the Golf Fitness Bomb Squad. My name is Chris, and I am so excited to be here with you today because I want to talk about the golf ball rollback and the science behind this. I think there's so much emotional firepower on, I guess I could say both sides of the argument. I think most people are on one side, but if you're in the USGA or the R&A, I think obviously you're on, we know what side they're on. And so basically what I wanted to address today is the actual implications that this is going to have for the, we'll obviously touch on the elite golfer, but obviously the 99+% of golfers that are the amateur golfers. And that's when we talk about who we work with at P4S Golf and the 10,000 plus individual golfers that we have data on from 13, actually from 10 years old. Actually, no, our youngest golfer is 8 years old, all the way up through 93 or 94 years old. And we have a ton of data. And what I want to make sure that we cover in this quick pod here is giving you the facts of data and what the impacts are going to be and where we see it going based on what we've seen trends, in terms of club head speed and some of the claims made by some people in favor of the rollback have been around. Well, athleticism is only going up, and golf courses are not going to be playable, for the next generation if we don't roll the ball back. So let's get into some specifics here. I think one of the and I got some notes here, so I want to make sure I cover everything. Some of the interesting facts I think to start this conversation out with is if we look at the highest of high levels, the PGA Tour and whatnot, the average driving distance hasn't changed in the last 20 years on tour. It has not. The longest driver back in 03, I think, was hitting at 321. The longest driver this year in 23 was hitting at 321. Like literally zero change. So first of all, anyone who's telling you that the distances are getting longer is BS. Also, the scoring average hasn't changed. It's still right around 71, I believe. So, and this is actually was just, listening a couple days ago, or maybe I was reading something, Lou Stagner, who's a huge data stats guy. Those are two unarguable stats. Scoring average hasn't changed on tour. Neither has club head speed or average or the longest hitter on tour. I think the other thing to take into consideration is what's happening in the amateur ranks. So obviously golf is at an all-time high. The game has grown a ton. The big discussion usually among the USGA and R&A is to grow the game of golf. Well, you have one of your largest segments of golfers, 50, baby boomers, and 60s. And we know statistically their distances already, the average person golfer doesn't do anything physically. And so their average distances are dropping 10 miles an hour a year. That's crazy. Like they're already losing distance. Like Father Time already does a golf ball rollback without having to touch the golf ball, just on the physical side of things, because golfers aren't doing the things that they need to do in general. Golfers are not known to be gym rats. So you're on the amateur golfer, effectively what's going to happen is you're now taking people who are already losing distance, generally from the age of 40. 41 is statistically, when we look at our data set, kind of people fall off a cliff, and physiologically speeds tend to really kind of start to drop, right? So you're already for 40 plus, age 40 plus golfers you're already losing lots of distance. And if we look at where does a lot of the money in golf come from, that's obviously country clubs or people with disposable income going on big golf trips. This is probably the largest section of golfers. They are already losing distance, and we're going to take away more distance by changing out golf balls. I think one of the cool stats discussions that Lou brought up was that basically, let's say you have, you roll the ball back, and think of it this way. You have two guys that are 20 yards apart. If they're 20 yards apart at 20 yards and 140 yards to the green, right? And this is where the big impact is going to come in. There's a much smaller differential of scoring from that range than there is from 180 to 200 yards, right? So for most amateur golfers, all of a sudden the distance impact is more in that 180 to 200 yards on your second shot, like your scoring averages are going to go up. So immediately, like overnight, we're going to make people worse, like at golf, right? The number one reason why people stop playing golf is because the game's not as fun. So now immediately you're making the game less fun. And I'm not sure how that's good for the game, growing it, right? But regardless, let's talk about the science of what are people probably going to do. Well, what happens is this rollback disproportionately impacts people that are shorter, right? For somebody who's long going from having an approaches from 120 to 140 yards, not as big of an impact for somebody who's shorter going from 180 to 200 yards on average on their approach. So naturally, what's going to happen is golfers you're going to have to chase swing speed to overcome this, right? And I've had a lot of discussions with Bobby, our director of research. He's like, well, shoot, man, they're giving me 5 years, to actually do this. Not that hard to pick up another 5 miles an hour and I'll be good. I jokingly, I was like, yeah, but you know exactly what to do and how to do it safely, right? Because the other statistical inarguable fact is all these golfers over the age of 40 who are already losing distance, 99% of them fail all 4 rotary centers, right? So now you got all these people who don't have the right mobility, are not healthy enough to go after chasing speed, but they're going to go after chasing speed because that is the only way to overcome this. Or I guess you strengthen your clubs and immediately the golf ball thing doesn't matter. But again, I think it's kind of a stupid, and it's funny because for us at P1st Golf, from a business perspective, you're making club head speed that much more important. That's honestly, it's probably a pretty good thing for business for me and for us, right? But for the game and for the health of golfers, and if we're ultimately all looking to grow this game of golf, you're going to increase injury likelihood in all these guys trying to swing faster. And unfortunately, I thought another cool point that Lou made, and the argument to that was, well, just move up a tee. Everybody should just move up a tee. Well, most people play member tees, which maybe are like, 62 to 6,500. The next tee up is probably 500 yards shorter, and now you're probably too short, right? So the courses they aren't set up to do that necessarily. And in my opinion, it's less the drive where people are going to feel it. They'll notice it's not going as far, but it's going to be more where they're going to feel it is the number of missed greens they have. The numbers, so now all of a sudden, their up and downs are, instead of being 20 yards away, now they're 40 yards away, right? So there's lots of, I think, snowball impacts that are going to happen to the amateur golfer, which, let's be honest, the amateur golfer is 99% of the game of golf, right? We play this game to enjoy it. My biggest concern on the physical side, let's get into this, is, like I said, 99% of people who are already losing distance, who come to us to gain distance, are not physically ready to gain that distance. Okay. So most people are, there's going to be a boom in club head speed, chasing that and going after that already from what there already is. People are going to get hurt more. When they get hurt, the average golfer, when they get hurt, misses 2 weeks of time, right? Well, now you're going to get more golfers getting hurt, missing more weeks of time. So now your rounds played are going to go down. Right. So again, continuing to fail to see how this is better for the game of golf, while maybe better for our business in terms of more people are interested in gaining club head speed. Definitely my biggest concern is that people are not going to go after club head speed in the right ways. I think it's a very easily overcome barrier in terms of losing, whatever they roll back the golf ball. I am very confident. I'm saying like 100%. If you do the right stuff, you can overcome that, pick up 5 miles an hour, like literally not going to impact you whatsoever. The problem is 95% of people are not going to go after gaining club head speed the right way, which means their safe swing speed right now is probably already less than what their current club head speed is, right? So we can figure that out based on the data we have, what your mobility numbers are, what your upper body power, what your lower body power numbers are. We can figure out where you can safely swing at. Already most golfers are at least 5 miles an hour, swinging at least 5 miles an hour faster than where their safe swing speed is at. And now you're telling people, hey, in order for this not to impact you, you need to gain more speed. Well, now we just increased the gap from how fast somebody's swinging to how low their actual safe swing speed is, which means you've now just increased their injury risk, which means you've now just likely increased the number of weeks somebody is not going to be able to play the game of golf because they're hurt, and you've increased the likelihood that they're going to have less fun when they go play. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. I think particularly when you listen to guys like Lou or other people who've actually read a lot of their reports from the USGA, and they talk about, well, if we don't roll it back, golf courses are going to have to add all this acreage. Well, the average golf course over the last, it was 20, 30 years, has actually shrunk in acreage by 1 to 2 acres. And the fairways have actually what they've done is gotten them a little bit narrower, saves them costs. So just a lot of the arguments being made don't make any sense when I come at it from kind of a data and science standpoint, and they're actually totally not even following their own research that they did, and from a USGA side of things. It just leaves me with a scratch in my head a little bit in terms of why we're doing it. My biggest concern for you is your longevity in the game, and the impact that a shorter golf ball is going to put more stress on swinging faster is going to have, and ultimately it just puts more onus on going after speed the correct way, which is make sure you have good rotary center mobility, right? So it's just parforsuccess.com. Go to this to figure out what your safe swing speed is. You'll go through the rotary center training, like literally do that. That just because the level of importance of that, the assessment and knowing what your safe swing speed is and trying to figure out what you need to do to fix that. It was already at very high importance level. We just went to DEFCON 5 if this is what actually is going to occur in the game of golf. So while I guess to wrap it up, I feel like ultimately it's probably good for business, I don't think it's good for the golf game. And I really am, not a fan of what they're doing. I don't understand why. I'm obviously going to continue to do research, talk with all the people in the industry that I know that have kind of back of scenes knowledge, and but nobody that I have talked to in the ball industry, in the know in any of the organizations has been able to really kind of truly give me an answer that is definitive. I think a lot of the data and research being used at this point is still philosophical and not necessarily proven. And a lot of the arguments actually have been proven the other way. So I hope that's helpful in terms of, with golf rollback, obviously we'll do the biggest impact that we'll see on the golf course is going to be that approach shot, going to be a bit longer. The biggest impact psychologically is going to be, we're going to, I guess if you want to fix it, go after clubhead speed becomes now more important. The concern is that most people don't go after clubhead speed in the right way. They don't address their mobility. They don't make sure they're strong enough. They just skip step 1 and step 2 and go right to step 3, which is swing clubs really, really fast and try to get as fast as possible. And that unfortunately leads to a lot of injury and really threatens our longevity. My bigger concern is just a golfer who freaking loves this game is the average longevity or length of time people can play golf is going to decrease, as we get older. So, hope you found that somewhat informative. I'd be curious to hear what you guys all think about the rollback and thoughts there, but more to come on that. But just wanted to, it was just kind of top of mind this morning. So wanted to get this recorded for you and out there, as it definitely is top of a lot of people's minds. So hopefully we diffused a few myths about this rollback and give you some actual facts, what to look for. Definitely go to the, parforsuccess.com, it's free literally to figure out what your safe swing speed is. We got 4 years. Let's start planning for it. I've not met a single golfer in the over 10,000 that we've worked with who has not been able to pick up enough speed to basically totally negate the ball rollback. So it's 100% doable to fix it. We just want to make sure you do it the right way. So thanks for hanging out, and look forward to hopefully dropping some more bombs on the next episode for you.